Hello. Thanks for joining us. So, one of the things that we kind of talked about or mentioned in a previous podcast was veterinary suicide rate. So, that is a very real thing, and many clients do not know that, understand that, or realize that. So, be nice to your veterinarians. There's a lot going on. So, statistically, the veterinary profession and dentistry are some of the highest suicide rates in the country for professional services. There is a reason for it. I don't necessarily know all the dentistry reasons, have some ideas, but that's not my place. Veterinary medicine can be very difficult, guys. The human side has everything broken up into little niches here and there, and they can refer everything, and they have to for legality reasons and insurance reasons. Pros and cons of insurance, that's another tangent, different discussion for another time. So there's a variety of reasons for it, but in the veterinary profession, most clients don't realize how much death we deal with on a daily basis. It is part of our job. Sometimes it is very hard, and it's like putting kids to sleep. Putting your kids to sleep. No parent should have to bury their child, their human child, but it does happen, and it's a realistic thing. And in today's society, there's a lot of fur babies, not pets. And every household is different and whatnot, and those human-animal bonds are very different. So that can be very taxing and stressful on the veterinary staff and the DVMs, because we deal with death on a daily basis. Sometimes it's trauma things, hit by cars, dog fights. That's been a really common thing here lately. And age does not matter. So those are always hard. Personally, I do feel it's much easier to put a really old patient who is dying and suffering to sleep than some of the other reasons or real sudden, unexpected things. But we do deal with a lot of death, and most clients probably don't realize how much we deal with. So that is very hard on the soul and the heart, especially over time. And from some previous studies, that's a big reason. Here in the last decade or so, online bullying and some of those things have actually contributed to numerous veterinary suicides. And that's just a real sad thing, sad topic, that people are going to try and make somebody feel guilty, where the vast majority of veterinarians are out here to help and serve people. And everybody has their own perspective on good job, bad job, or how that went. That's not the point. They're out there trying and doing things, and they're put in a very hard spot. And that got to be a really big reason. Also got to be a major reason why there's a major veterinary industry shortage in veterinarians and staff members, because who wants to deal with people yelling and screaming out and whatnot when there's nothing else they could have done? Or whatever medical situation happens, and life happens, things happen. Mistakes happen, owners, life, machines, equipment, people, it's a thing. Another aspect of it is pros and cons. We deal with a lot of different species in different sizes and animals. It is not quite as simple as here's a human and here's how they metabolize everything. Depending on the veterinarian, we can treat every animal. At this point in time, we're licensed to treat a buffalo, a zebra, a bird, a parrot, dogs, cats, a squirrel, flying squirrels, tigers, all those things. So they don't all metabolize things the same. Turtles are very different than a rabbit. Rabbits are similar to horses, but cats are very different than dogs. A dog is very different than a hamster or a guinea pig. So, kind of get the idea. But, with all that different territory and physiology and anatomy that we deal with and go through, we have to use a lot of different drugs. And, we have a lot of access to a lot of very potent drugs that are highly regulated, DEA regulated, Drug Enforcement Agency, and we have to have special certifications and certificates and backgrounds and all this fun stuff. Yay. But there's a lot of stories where I've listened to my dad over the years. He's lost a lot of vet school colleagues for drug issues or things like that happen. And not veterinarians or druggies, things happen for different reasons. They're usually hard-headed and stubborn, and they want to go work to help and get the job done, and that's just the personality of a lot of veterinarians. And they're doing it to get work, to go to work and do the job. And just like anything, if you get on heroin once, what's the odds you're going to get more and more exposed and get more and then eventually hit an overdose? And in today's society currently, fentanyl is a big hot topic with drugs. A few years back it was tramadol, and drug dealers cutting and lacing things and having a lot of issues with it. But we have a lot of access to very potent drugs. Doesn't mean we have them in practices, but depending on your licensing and so on and so forth, there's access. The more access you have, the more availability for abuse issues or difficult situations to arise. And that can ultimately end up leading to maybe incidental suicide or various things. But, just a reminder for you guys, veterinary medicine has been one of the highest professional suicide rates for a very long time. So there's a lot that's going on, not just what you see in your room and in front of you. There's generally quite a bit going on behind the scenes and more than one thing at a time. So sorry about the sad, sore subject, but something I've been kind of wanting to mention for a while and get out there. But, just be cognizant, there's a lot going on. I love the profession, it is great, I have no regrets about it, I thoroughly enjoy it, and I have no intention on that ever happening. But statistically in different journals and things, it's still very real and very prevalent, and one of the downsides. So hope that was a little educational for you guys and a little different perspective that I would imagine most have never heard of or thought of or were aware of it. So there's a little tidbit there. All right, guys, take care.